Hello Reds, welcome along to All for United.
Yes, you absolute psychopaths. Welcome back to All for United. This is All for United Uncut. My internet is, as usual, very shit, but good news for all of you. I'm moving out tomorrow, so hopefully I get a bit better internet. Welcome to the best show on YouTube. Your boy here. He doesn't know what he's in for. We'll let him know. Everyone in the comments, let me know how you're doing. We've got James, we've got Benny, and we've got Stu. First things first, we've just come off the back of Portugal going out of the Euros, so that's Bruno having a nice little rest now until the pre-season begins. That was a great game, to be fair. And of course, the Netherlands went out earlier. Let us know your thoughts on that in the comments. First up, what are we drinking? James, what are we having?
I'm muted. I'm on a San Miguel today.
Embarrassing.
San Miguel.
No, mute, not the San Miguel.
Go on then, Benny, what have you got?
I'm even more embarrassing. I'm on the bottle of Buxton water, lads.
Buxton
Mate,
water.
I'm on a diet, you know. I'm trying to be good.
I mean, fair play, fair play. Hammer, what have you got?
Hey, when you dropped out and before you came back, I did let them know. I don't have too much drinking going on, but I'll have some other things going on to make this interesting. If you catch my drift.
Yeah, I'm still going through the Father's Day gift of Corona, so I'll be back to my ale next time.
Hey?
Here we go. What a
Has his tits web gone already?
I think so. I think he's gone.
Yeah,
there, Karthik.
Is there?
No. No, he's gone.
Shit.
Oh, back.
Oh.
Am I back? Am I alive?
I think you're back.
Yes.
Oh, we came back for a second.
He came back for a split second, yeah. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
Absolute chaos.
Well, that is Uncut for you, isn't it? Absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. Anyway, so who reckons the goalkeeper was at fault for the
Right, I'm back. Shut up about football.
the Belgian goal?
Oh, he is. He's back. Is he back? Or is he froze again? Oh, he's back.
Shut up about football. Shut up about football, Stu. I'm here.
Okay.
Right, what are you drinking?
Well, I'm drinking the remnants of my Father's Day. I've got a couple left from my son Jake. So
I'm glad you added. I'm glad you added day on the end of that.
Yes.
I thought you were going to tell us a really sad story then.
I'm drinking Corona. That's the sad story. I'm drinking Corona. Normally I've got a nice craft ale.
What happened to you? Yeah, exactly. What happened to the craft ale?
Well, to be fair, basically it's Father's Day, isn't it? So and you've got to be fair to your kids.
It's not.
So I'm being fair to me, lads.
It's not Father's Day.
Well, it was Father's Day, I think he's trying to say.
Yeah, I've still got some left, so I'll be back on the ale next time.
Bloody hell.
And what is Connor?
Connor, I've not cut my hair in about a month.
I need to get a haircut.
Yeah, that's a good point. Why is Connor in the comments but not on the show?
Yeah, why is he not on the stream?
Exactly.
And he's in the comments. Connor, that's
I'm here with shit internet.
Connor, shocking. Come on, dude, where are you?
I'm here 10 seconds in the past.
I think we're all resting up for the journey.
Right, I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite happy because hang on a minute, he's not cut his hair. He's not wearing his Apollo 13 headphones yet. You know what? Fair play. Anyway, I don't know about you guys, but I'm happy because Ben's not here this week, so the We Hate Structure movement continues.
Yes.
so much so that I'm here without an internet. So everyone in the comments, comment, we hate structure, tweet All for United with it, and I heard Ben will let us keep All for United. However, there is a topic, there is a thumbnail that I must address before my internet cuts out. United, we all agree, need a central defensive midfielder. We need a number 6. We need someone to fill that role so that the rest of our players can just do their thing. And at the minute, we're linked with one. Not like an out-and-out number 6 anyway. We've been linked with a few deep line playmakers, that kind of thing, but not really anything solid that we can go, yeah, we're definitely signing this guy, or we're definitely interested. What has come out is that United potentially need to sell players before we're able to buy a number 6. Maybe the initial transfer budget is set for Jadon Sancho and a centre-back, perhaps. Well, looks like if we want to sign anyone else, we're going to have to sell. So the discussion here is, before I jump to the comments, number 1, what do we think of the fact that we have to sell in order to buy? Number 2, who do you think we can sell and how much can we make? And number 3, who can we get for that money and how does that compare to who you actually want to sign? James, you can go first.
I actually think it's a good thing that we've got to sell to buy, because it might force us to get rid of some of the sort of deadwood that's been cluttering up for a while. Do you know what I mean? I think if we can get rid of Andreas Pereira to start with, you could maybe get 10, 15 million for him if you were really good at bargaining. I think Jesse Lingard looks like he could be on his way out as well. After the season he's had, that could easily be 30 million odd. But there's obviously other players. Phil Jones, you wouldn't get a fee for. You'd have to pay other people to take him off your hands. But yeah, Delo as well. Get maybe 20 million for him. But yeah, I'm happy that it's going to force us to get rid of the players that just aren't Manchester United quality. Because I think if we didn't have to, we'd just keep hold of them because it's cheaper than replacing them with better players, isn't it? So, obviously it's a little bit annoying that we have, some of the richest owners in the world and we're still having to sell to buy, but it's not the end of the world. And then, like the players I mentioned, if we are getting rid of Martial as well, you can maybe make upwards of 80 million on player sales. Not all of that would go on new player signings, but there's talks of Camavinga coming in. I don't think he'd be as expensive as we might think. He's only got a year left on his deal, so that instantly lowers his price. And I think Ren missed out on Champions League as well, so that might lower his price even further. So yeah, he'd be a viable option. I still don't see him as the sort of answer to the holding midfielder role. I think he'd be like Pogba. He'd do a good job in that number 6, but you're sort of limiting how much of an impact he can have by playing him there. So it's weighing up those options. But say we're allowed to use 40, 50 million of that. I don't think there's many elite holding midfielders we couldn't afford, which is quite a nice thing to have.
No, I agree. I think it is a good thing that we will be forced to get to sort of cull our squad, and I think it's what the squad needs. Benny, what do you think? There's a few people in the comments sort of listing out who they'd sell. Who do you think we can possibly offload, and how much do you think we can get for them?
All depends, because I still think that with this pandemic still really rife across parts of the globe, I think you might not get as much money as you probably would had you done pre-pandemic for some of these players. Ugly Bear, Sell, Lingard, Fred, Delo, Bay, to matter, but yeah, let's have a bit of a list there, lad. Lingard would be an interesting one. Because if we get like 25, 30 million for him, at the very, very least, man, that'd be a good bit of business. That'd free a bit of chunk of money up. Fred, they won't sell. He won't sell Fred. Delo's going to be the interesting one, because I've seen a lot of people on social media today saying maybe perhaps deserves a bit of a chance. He's still young. He's still learning the game as well, or he's still relatively young, should we say? Still learning the game and everything. Maybe we could save some money there at right back. Instead of get Trippier in, maybe give Delo another shot at it. Which if we could do that, saving money there, giving Delo another shot, and saving the 40 million euro asking price of Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid, man. You're saving yourself 40 million euro there that you can put into a CDM role or for a CDM player. There's plenty out there that are so decently priced. We've been through it before. Ruben Neves, Saul Niguez, not all that much either, So It all depends, really. We need to be smart, really. We need to be smart at what we do this summer. Because it could be like I said with Delo, it could be a factor that you might go, oh well, we might give him another shot, another opportunity to back Wan-Bissaka up and to try and lay a claim to a place in the squad and maybe save that €40 million asking price of Kieran Trippier, because I think that's well too expensive for Trippier. And I think that's from what I've been hearing, is United not going to be paying that sort of money for him anyway. So it'll be all about what happens in the Pogba situation as well, still not resolved yet. Do we run the risk of losing him for free next summer, or do we try and get him tied down to a new deal, or do we sell him now? To try and get a bit of money there. So it's all going to be interesting. I think the question is going to be answered as soon as the tournament finishes, and hopefully we'll get our answers in the next few weeks.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you named a few of those players. Lingard's definitely an interesting one, but Hammer, I want to ask you particularly because we've just watched him play for Portugal. Diogo Dalot, what do you think of him? Because do you reckon that he can be sort of what Telles is in terms of a good backup, or do you think we need, even as a backup, we need a level above what Dalot is as a backup? Is that maybe why Ollie's looking at Kieran Trippier?
No, yeah, I mean, so I think the issue with Dalot is his defensive side, and that's obviously a big issue for a right back. But if he can even just slightly improve what he does on the defensive side, I think it would be a decent idea, especially what Benny was saying in terms of being smart and saving money, to give him a shot. We saw that he can put in those balls that we would probably all love to see Wan-Bissaka be able to put in. So, he'll bring the same thing going forward. That would be the reason we're signing Trippier. It's really just that defensive side. I don't think he needs to get significantly better, but he needs to do a decent amount better than what he has shown when he plays for United and when he plays, And today, even, I don't know. I wasn't able to watch the whole game, but again, he showed. I think I saw somebody comment in here. He has some moments which makes you go oh, okay, yeah, he could give us something, and then he has those defensive lapses where he rarely becomes a liability. So I think it all depends on how much he can improve on that defensive end.
Yeah, I think you make a good point. But then again, you might look at it as well as, well, if we have Wan-Bissaka who potentially could improve his attacking side, maybe we don't mind having a right back that needs to improve on his defensive side. Now you've got two options for maybe different kinds of games, and that's potentially what we've done wrong with Wan-Bissaka. Maybe we're playing him in every game when perhaps we don't need to, and we need something else there. Stu, what do you think in terms of just generally the squad? Who could we get rid of? Do you think there are some players that we need to keep just to have backup? What would you see it as?
Yeah, well, our squad balance has been up for debate, hasn't it, all season? It's not been great. Although there is an argument to suggest that if you look back to the Wolves game, that some of the fringe players that we kept probably outperformed the starting 11. Added a bit more balance, added a bit more creativity, added a greater amount of technical ability. But I suppose you've got to trim the fat. I mean, it's like any business, unfortunately. You've got to balance the books. So I think in the world of football, people automatically assume that if you've got to sell to buy, it's a big thing. They've got, there's no money, etc. in the club. It's not necessarily correct. It's about balancing the squad and trimming the deadwood that we've been saddled with for years now, 6 or 7 years. So I mean, I quite like Dalot. I quite like what he's offered the last 6 months, certainly at AC Milan, and certainly I think he's been quite reasonable in the European Championships, and I guess his stock is relatively high at the moment for Diogo Dalot type player, and so I would move him on in the summer, and I would take the money. I would try. I think James is right. I would try and move Lingard on if we can, because I think we've probably got 25 to 30 million. I did read a bit of a joke comment the other day that's saying United were holding out for 20 million for Pereira. I mean, fuck me. Whoever they're going to fleece on that one is really interesting. And so, yeah, obviously Phil Jones, I would cancel his contract, to be honest. I wouldn't put up with Phil Jones anymore, just cancel his contract. I'd find a common ground with his agent and himself and pay him off, because it's just it's a waste of time that. And those are the types of players I would move on. I'd actually move on Matic as well. And I think Matic probably wants to go, and I think he probably will end up at Roma. So I'd move on Matic. In terms of who we buy, I think James is right. There's no CDM out there that we can't afford. It's who comes in and fits the type of play that Ollie wants to play next year.
I can think of a couple that we can't afford, and one of them's name is Joshua Kimmich.
Well, Kimmich, yeah. Although Kimmich, to be honest, I love Kimmich as well, as I've championed Kimmich and Brozovic. And I know people will have a stab at me over Brozovic. He was brilliant for Inter Milan last season. He's had a poor Euro Championships, but so was Kimmich. Kimmich has had a very poor Euros. He's not been great at all, Kimmich. But it doesn't matter. I mean,
right, before you get into that, that's a separate question, so don't start on that just yet. You're going to steal my content from me. We need to get through the sales first, so just talk about that.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. So I think there's some money in Dalot. There's definitely some money in Lingard. There's a little bit of money in Pereira. There's no money in Jones, and I'd imagine there's no money in Matic either. So those are the players I would move on. The big question is Pogba. What do we do with him? And we're sitting on a time bomb with Pogba, unfortunately, because do we sell him or don't we sell him? It's the big question, isn't it? And we all know that if we sell him and we offer him an extortionate salary, are we going to upset the equilibrium between the top earners of the club? If we don't sell him, but he doesn't sign a new contract, then we stand the chance of losing him for free. So he's you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, I think, with Pogba, I'm afraid. And he also, the other thing is, Riola knows that Pogba's got one contract left in him, one massive contract. So Riola's got one massive payday. So I'd be interested in how that one turns out. But going back to Jarvis, Jarvis is absolutely right. Kimmich is out of this world. He's a wonderful, wonderful talent. But he's just had a poor. I think he's had a poor Euros. I don't know what the panel.
We're not getting Joshua Kimmich. Let's not discuss Joshua Kimmich because we're not going to get him. The common names in the comments at the minute are Andreas Pereira, Phil Jones. We've seen Jesse Lingard. We've seen a few saying Diogo Dalot, a few saying Martial. We saw him linked with a move early this week. I think it was to Tottenham. Not too sure that will happen. There's a few saying buying to Anzabi. We've got Matic and Mata, which I think are likely. Phil Jones, again, you might have to pay him out. But what I'd say is we've got to also consider the goalkeeper might go. And that's probably a very realistic thing. That's going to happen. And I think what's equally important is did I cut off?
Who? Uh-oh.
I think the internet's going to go on the Tinterweb.
Oh,
he's
back.
He's back. No, he's not. He's gone.
No, he's gone.
James, here we go.
He's back now. He's back. Just wait.
Is he back?
Is he back?
Is he? Oh, I don't know.
Uncut.
Oh, he is.
I'm here again. I'm getting for this.
You know this new pad you're moving to? Who's going to be supplying your internet?
You don't even know what you said.
And is it on broadband and not dial-up?
Yeah, am I live?
Yeah.
Barely.
I think what Karthik does before he goes live, he gets his dial-up phone, right, and he starts, and then he goes, da, 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 da. And he has to put his passcode into his dial-up phone. And he's there waiting for it to go through, and you hear that crackling sound, don't you? It's travelling down to wherever it is. Poor lad.
He might be back again.
Is he back now?
No, he's frozen again.
You can see the
right, am I here now?
He's here now. Yeah, he's there.
Is he here?
Fuck me. I'm getting fed up with the right. I'm going to say it. BT, your Insta's fucking shit.
I'm on BT.
I'm on.
Yeah,
You're on
fucking
you're on
shit.
broadband. He's on dial-up.
Well, I am on broadband, yeah.
Fuck BT. They're fucking shit. Everyone, go over to Virgin Media or whatever.
Stop downloading porn.
Fuck BT.
Nice one,
They're
Jarvis.
fucking shit.
Nice one, Jarvis.
Sorry, Ben, if you want a BT sponsorship for the channel. They're fucking shit.
What BT broadband have you got, Karthik? Why don't you just go on Halo 3 like the rest of us?
What?
I don't know what y'all are talking about. So
The Halo 3, it's the top one. You get redundancy.
I think we're on Halo 2.
We'll get off Halo 2 and go on Halo 3.
When are you going about Halo?
Well, I don't decide. The fucking housing agent decided it.
The only Halo I know is Xbox. Actually,
I thought it was on about the Xbox fucking game then.
No, BT changed it.
Yeah,
to
so did
something
I.
called-
And you know what? While I'm here, I'm moving out tomorrow. So Drake and Co. estate agency, you're fucking shit as well. Fucking shit bags giving me shit Wi-Fi. Fuck you.
Have you got-
I'm your
have you
shit
got
high
internet
rent.
where you
Fuck
going?
off.
Have you got internet where
Yeah,
you're
I
going?
think so. Watch. They are BT
I
as
think
well.
so.
I think so.
I reckon you just live next
Watch,
to
I'll walk
McDonald's and
in,
you
I'll
just use their free Wi-Fi.
He's using somebody's free
He probably sets up and he's hacking their free Wi-Fi.
He's
It's
using
explain why I'm
somebody's free
fucking fat
Wi-Fi,
as
isn't
well.
he? Oh dear. Look,
Right, I don't
James
even
is
know how
fine.
long I'm going to last on this podcast.
Yes. What we talked about?
Right now. I don't fucking care anymore. Fuck transfers, right? Well, that last talk about shit internet providers. What do we think of EE?
Well, yes. Well, I've got redundancy with EE. So I've got two
Well,
hubs.
fuck them then.
I've got my Halo 3 hub, and then I've got my EE hub, and then I've got Wi-Fi discs around the house.
I've got my Modern Warfare hub, and I've got my Battlefield hub as well.
You haven't. You've got a 1970s phone, right? Where you have to dial
Student get the
the
joke.
fucking number in.
The student get the joke. It's fine.
The Modern Warfare, I did, yeah. Yeah, Jakey plays
okay.
Modern Warfare. He uses TPS.
Well, he uses what is a TPS plug?
Well, you're okay at the minute.
Well, don't jinx it.
You're okay
What
at
the
the
fuck's
minute.
a TPS plug?
Oh, no, he's not. He's gone.
Yeah.
You do realise, guys, that James has looked
Am I here?
horrified all night because he's
just-
desperately not wanting to take over.
Yeah, if you go, I've got no idea what I'm going to do. I'm next in line.
He's
Well,
looking
yeah.
horrified.
I thought that was the case anyway. Well, Benny's here. He can host.
I'm here as well, yeah. I forgot I was hosting. I was enjoying reading all these. I've got fibre 100 works well, whatever Jarvis is on about there. Fibre 100 out of 100, whatever that is.
But Jarvis. Oh, no, Jarvis isn't in the UK, though, is he?
Oh, is he not?
No, I don't think so.
I was wondering why I've never heard of that before. 100,
Yeah, I'm in the
100.
States. Y'all are complaining about stuff that I don't even know what you mean.
Haven't you got 18?
I love how this has turned into me getting advice from the comments on how to make my internet work better. You know what? I'm going to clear the history right now. Let's see if that works. Right. Yeah, we're going to read out what's on it.
Share your screen and show everyone your history.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think that's a good idea, James.
No, nor do we.
Right, you know what? You know what we do have to do? The newbie, Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to find lookalike for him, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Oh Jesus!
Right, comments.
I think
Who
that
does
book's
Hammer look like? Give me a lookalike, and we'll bring you up on screen.
I'm
There's a
struggling.
guy
with that.
on Moana that he looks like that's played by The Rock.
People say that.
Yeah.
I put my hair down.
Go on, put it down.
That's wonderful. Hang on, let's find it.
You're going to have to get him up then, because I'm struggling with Hammer, to be honest. Everyone else is relatively quite straightforward.
Okay,
Ben in
football.
particular was really straightforward.
All right, here we go.
Oh, hold on.
You know what? He's not
suspense is killing
actually
me.
a bad shout.
Is it a good chance, is it?
It's not actually a bad shout, you know.
All right.
If it wants to download, oh my god, this is not a good sign of how long it's taking to download this image. Right.
Wow, look at that hair.
What you say?
Right, here we go. Right, Hammer, take your headphones off a sec.
Look at that hair.
Right. Okay, ready?
Oh, that's not the right picture, is it?
There we go.
Who's that?
It's a Disney
You
character,
don't
isn't
know
it?
who
Played by
that
The Rock.
is?
No, I haven't got a clue. My kids are
Oh,
growing up,
Stu,
aren't
you
they?
are old.
Dylan Jones in the comments says Roman Reigns, but without
Roman
the muscles.
Reigns is a good shout.
So?
That's fucked up, Dylan.
Is
Hang on,
Roman
let's
Reigns not
find
a good
Roman.
shout?
Let's get a picture of Roman
No,
Reigns. Hang
no,
on.
the without the muscles part was fucked up.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously,
Don't worry.
No, I'm not rating the Roman Reigns one, you know.
do you not think
I'm not rating Roman Reigns. No.
Hammer's better
I'm not
looking
rating
than Roman Reigns, aren't you?
Jarvis has just gone for Moana, so clearly you look a bit feminine.
Well, what the fuck?
Hammer, guess who we think
Apparently
Benny
you
looks
just look
like?
like Moana, mate. Sorry.
Hammer, guess
Yeah.
who we think Benny looks like? Who do you think is Benny's twin?
Wait, is that? I'm pretty sure I've seen you guys call. No, it's not Benny. Fuck, I don't know.
Look at his beard and the old guitar. Billy Gibbons, ZZ Top.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about ZZ Top.
Oh, okay.
I would never guess
Yeah.
ZZ Top. Like, I know the name, but definitely not enough to.
Oh,
to get like.
it was a good picture, wasn't it, Ben?
It was, mate, to be fair.
It was a really good because we had Benny side by side with Billy Gibbons, and it looked perfect, absolutely perfect. Yeah. You back?
Coffee's not
Charlie?
spoken in a while, and it's really freaking me out.
Is he froze again? Is he back?
My internet is just not hacking it.
Oh shit! I just looked up Billy Gibbons. That was a kid.
It was absolutely brilliant, that one.
So, Karthik, tell your missus behind you to get off TikTok. It's using up all the internet.
That was funny.
Now we know she's real.
Damn.
Well,
Lads, when Karthik comes back on, we should all freeze, just like and see what he does. We should just all freeze, see what he does. He'll start talking, and we'll just go like that. That'd be quite funny. That.
Oh shit, man.
he's just said he's got to dial it back
Aaron
up again, so he's going to be a couple of minutes.
Oh, no, he's got to dial it back up again, has he? Benny looks like Aaron Gunnarsson. Oh, the Icelandic. Yeah.
Your name sounds familiar.
Yeah. Anyway, what's been happening in the old NBA, Hammer?
Ooh, it's well. So I'm a Knicks fan, and we got knocked out by the Hawks, which hurt.
Yeah.
But now they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, and I can't really be mad about that. So we got beat by the team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. But a lot of the big names got knocked out, which is making it really interesting. Like LeBron got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah.
The Nets with Kevin Durant and that big Supers team got knocked out. So it's some young guys and some young teams that are taking over. So like,
My lad watches Milwaukee Bucks, I think.
yeah, they're still in it. I think it's them and the Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals, and Giannis is a pain in the ass, but he pisses me off because he can't. He's just tall as shit and just ridiculously athletic. He can't shoot to save his life and stuff like that. But it's frustrating, man.
We better talk something funny. Come on, who's hosting out of you two? We're just guests.
Come on, you're hosting, Stu. This is your debut.
There's be no hosting here.
This is your trial shift. That's a good question then. What's everyone's second sport behind football then? Benny, you first.
Not really. But I have another sport, to be fair. Maybe a dabble in a bit in Formula One, but apart from that, mate, I'm not really interested in other sports, to be fair. But yeah, Formula One every now and then when I get into it. But I switch off too easy from it because I find it gets boring when Hamilton's winning all the time. Not that I've got anything against Lewis Hamilton, because I do like the guy, but I just want a bit more competition. So, but I say Formula One. I didn't used to like touring car, but I don't see it much anymore on TV. I mean, I'm sure Stuart will tell me it's definitely on a channel somewhere.
ITV4.
ITV4, thank you very much, Joe. I didn't know that, but
yeah.
might take that back up again.
Yeah, the old tin top. I like. Well, I got a couple of extra sports I like because I cycle and I box. So yeah, cycling and boxing for me really. Oh, and of course MotoGP, as you well know, James, because that's what I. Did you watch today, by the way?
I watched the last couple of laps because I was covering a game today, but I saw how it ended.
Yeah, Quartararo, Vignala's got pulled, didn't he? So Quartararo is decent. Marquez there, 7th, I think he was, 7th and 8th. Aleix just behind him. So it was okay. It always pulls up a decent race, that.
I have to really, sell it to people who watch F1. I'm saying it's just so much more entertaining. Less laps, more crashes, more overtakes. What is there not to love?
Do you know the difference between your F1 fan and your MotoGP fan is intelligence? They don't understand the intricacies of MotoGP and the speeds. And when I mean speed, you are talking back wheel and front wheel at about 200 miles an hour of sometimes millimeters and inches apart. And these guys are riding around, at that overtaking and undertaking at about 130, 140 miles an hour, literally on their knees and their elbow and their shoulders. So it takes a element of skill to do that. It's fantastic. But have you ever been to a meet, James? Have you ever been there and watched it?
Yeah, I've been to Silverstone. I went to Valencia a couple of years ago as well.
The problem with Silverstone in particular is you're just a little bit too far away from the track to really appreciate where you are. Luckily for me, you're either pit lane or dotted around the track doing photography, and sometimes it's phenomenal. So, interesting. Ugly Bear likes snooker. Karthik's history. Interesting. We still like structure.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
James's face has gone blank. He's gone
I'm just.
He's gone.
My mind's going at 100 miles an hour trying to think of what we're talking about next.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Hammer, enlighten us on American sports other than NBA.
So for me, I got a few. My order is football, not our football, like this football. Then American football. Then I would probably be NBA and then MLB. So I switched from football to American football when I was younger, going into like high school. So that's kind of why I like it as much as I do now, because I actually played it, and that shit is insanely fun. And you see a lot of different things and feel a lot of different things playing American football than like some other sports, because it's like that real over contact. In football you can throw a shoulder into somebody. In American football, someone's trying to take your head off. Because with those pads, nobody gives a shit. And then for me, NBA and baseball, I was never great at basketball and things like that. But I mean, when you look at some of the even if you just go look at highlights of NBA games, that thing, to me, those games get you crazy and get you feeling wild. And the atmosphere at NBA games are even, to me, they're great. Obviously I haven't been to, a football game over on your guys' side, but an NBA game, I think the atmosphere is insane because it's so much smaller and everything is packed in and you're right next to the court. So people just go insane. And man, when you see some of those dunks, like I've gone a couple times to Madison Square Garden to see the Knicks, even though they haven't been great in recent years, but the atmosphere is still great because it's New York, it's Madison Square Garden, and it's always some crazy stuff.
Well, speaking of atmosphere, then we'll do it hypothetically. Stu, if you got to go back to one game you've been to live and you got to take Hammer with you to show him what the atmosphere is like in a football stadium, which game are you taking him to?
I would take him to St James's Park because Manchester United Newcastle, if you've never been there, is something to behold. As an away fan, sampling Newcastle, sampling the atmosphere, because they are an absolute tribe up there. There's no other way to describe Newcastle United fans. They are that passionate, that tribal. I mean, we were in a pub, Yates's Bar. This is going back years ago. This is mid-90s. We're in a pub and we'd gone up to an away match, and we beat. I think we'd beaten them 1-0. It wasn't the Cantona game; it was another game. I can't quite remember what year it was. Anyway, we've got into an away game. We got into Yates's and we're talking around. There's a load of Newcastle fans coming in, etc. They're talking about the big derby from against Sunderland the following week, and we went into the game and it was absolutely brilliant. We as I say, we beat them 1-0, and the atmosphere was amazing. We went out into Gateshead, which I got into a bit of trouble because if you've ever been up there, you don't say Gateshead is Newcastle, because honestly they'll fucking rip your limb from limb. And we went over to this particular bar and we came back, and we talked to these girls on the way back, as you do, and they were saying, "Oh, where have you been?" "Oh, just across the bridge to the other part of Newcastle." "What, you went to Gateshead?" And they went absolutely fucking ballistic. But we met a group of fans, and I was still in my United shirts. We met a group of fans, and they were absolutely brilliant. They took us on a tour of the city, made sure that we went to the right bars, made sure that we, had a really, really good time. And the whole weekend away, the whole atmosphere of the game, the build up to the game, and then the aftermath of the game was absolutely amazing. So Newcastle Hammer, I would take you to Newcastle, old friend.
Yeah, I think that's the thing we need to really portray onto fans who don't go to games, is that most of the time you don't actually go for the game. You go for the atmosphere before the game, the time with your mates after the game. The game is obviously a brilliant bonus, but I've been to a lot of Forest games just purely because it's a good day out with your mates more than anything. I think that do they have that sort of culture in America, Hammer?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say something that compares. So I'm assuming you guys go to pubs, right? Before the games, So before a lot of games over here, it's the tailgating, and tailgating is some ridiculous stuff. And if you can go to the best places, and what's crazy over here, which I know I think a lot of UK people and I guess European people as well find crazy, is the college atmospheres. If you go to some of the biggest schools like Alabama, if you go to LSU, Ohio State, if you go to West Virginia, you might not make it back out. But they do some West Virginia, because the parties at colleges over here they get ranked. The party schools get ranked by who's the craziest, and West Virginia is always around the top. But the tailgating at these games are insane, because not only is it, especially if you go to one of those big schools, you're talking hundreds of thousands of fans. Like Michigan is a college, and their max stadium is 100,000 people capacity for a college, right? They go insane at these tailgates. And the best part that I know about the tailgates is the food. If you go to the right tailgate, you're going to have people barbecuing. You're going to have people bringing all different types of local food on all crazy shit. And to be honest, I don't know how it would go down in England, but I feel like tailgating would make it insane.
It doesn't. I think we should explain tailgating. And now I know a little bit about this only because we've got relatives over in the States scattered across America. But when St. Louis Rams were St. Louis Rams, a big portion of our family lives in Missouri, St. Louis.
Yeah.
And what he means by tailgating is, if I'm right, and I could be wrong, Hammer, so I'm about to put myself on the chopping block here, but they took me to a game once, and we went into the car park, because the car parks are huge of these, aren't they, of these stadiums?
Yeah, you're fitting tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, and fans have literally, if I'm right, what you mean by tailgating, fans have literally got barbecues at the back of their cars, and they've got beers, and literally they've got proper steaks, and they're serving steaks. And if you've not part of a tailgate, you can go up, and they will give you something. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. And some of the biggest ones, they have I don't know if they were kid competition necessarily, but people try to be oh, I got the best barbecue, I have the best this, I have the best that. And yeah, what you said at the end too is right. If you're not have somewhere where you're cooking, the whole point of this is to get drunk, have fun. They got games that they play and shit like that. And then everybody is more than willing to give you some food, give you a plate, sit around, hang around, drink some beer. It's tailgating is such an insane atmosphere for a lot of these.
Phenomenal. I was amazed, actually, absolutely amazed. I mean, I can't really follow American football because I don't really understand it, if I'm being honest. I've been to a couple of games in the UK and I don't quite get it. I don't understand the yardage and all that kind of thing. But as a spectacle, as somewhere where you can go and really enjoy the atmosphere, it was something to behold, man. I have to say, it was something to behold. So
yeah, man, I love it. And with American football, it's some of the rules that you just got to know. Like, I'm not going to attempt to explain it on here because that'll be a lot. But like the yardage and stuff, like the first down, and did you mean like the 1st and 10 and things like that?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, see that I don't. I don't understand.
That one's actually a little bit easier, so I can try to explain that really fast. 1st and 10 is when you get the ball, you have 4 tries to complete 10 yards. And if you complete the 10 yards, you get another 4. But usually on the 4th, people will kick it away because if you don't complete it on that 4th, the other team takes over wherever the ball is.
Oh, I see. So it's turnover then?
Yeah, it's turnover.
Ah, cool. What about you, Benny? Where would you take Hammer?
On a United away day, mate, anywhere across the country or across Europe, mate, because you know what it's like on an away day, mate. The atmosphere in the Manchester United away end is unreal. And I think, you know, a lot of people always say we're the best supported or best travelled fans across the country. We make noise, we stand in stairwells, we cause a bit of havoc. So I think United away days, mate, you know, anywhere across the country or across Europe, you know, it's amazing, you know, because you're always stood there with a group of your mates. There's usually about 10 of you, when you're not in your allocated seats. We're all bunched in, you know, squished in together. We're all spilling out into the stairways, you know. It's and that's why we seem to get a reduced allocation quite a bit as well, because clubs complain that we're always spilling into the stairways. And
I think where's the worst? Albion, isn't it, for that? West Brom.
Albion.
West Brom's terrible for that because you're kind of all basically packed in like sardines. But most away fans know each other, don't they? Because there's only away fans can go, and the atmosphere is absolutely amazing on an away day, isn't it?
I love it. It's weird as well, isn't it? Because, you know, we're obviously a victim of our success in that way. Because I've been to home games before, and it's pretty flat, and I think it is because we are a tourist club. You know, going to Old Trafford for a game is a tourist destination now, and there's not a problem with that at all. That's just modern football. But United, Old Trafford has a reputation for not having a great atmosphere at all, and obviously we go away, and it's a brilliant atmosphere. So, you know, is there a way to get the atmosphere better without sacrificing your inclusivity as a club? Because, you know, everyone's welcome at Old Trafford, everyone's welcome to be a United fan, but you're getting rid of a lot of the diehard fans, aren't you?
If I can answer this first, the club went wrong when the Stretford End went double tier, 2-tier, because it slapped an executive box right in the middle of the Stretford End, which was your most vocal end of Old Trafford. And I'm adamant since then that the atmosphere has been absolutely pants. Since they slapped that exec box in there, you know, so they know they can mint that exec box because it's in the legendary Stretford End. So, but we're never going to get rid of it. But my point was, and I've always said it for years, get rid of that exec box and have 2 tiers of absolute people that will sing their hearts out, man, and you'll get the atmosphere back, trust me. But of course, you've lost a lot of these hardcore Reds that, over the years that have just got fed up with the atmosphere and how touristy, if you like, Old Trafford's become. Because you'll see a lot of them at away games, but you'll never see them at home games.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
Box with Blackburn away. Blackburn away is quality. You get 7,000 to 8,000 of us.
And I can add to
allocation
that.
There.
I can add to that, Benny. Unfortunately, embarrassed that I am about to admit this to you, old friend. We may have a ticket in the International Lounge, but that's, you know. But the problem with that, right, is
Stuart, Ben's just put a message in the group chat saying you're banned forever. So,
again,
unlucky.
Well, I'm banned again because I've got a ticket there. No, it's a family ticket. But Actually, Ben's right, because whenever I take my lad there, the reason I use that is when Jake was small, Ben.
Yeah.
When Jake was small, and we've spoken about this about Zane, haven't we?
Yeah.
When Jake was small, it was safer, I felt.
Yeah.
As a father, to take Jake in there, I just felt it was safer. And I was taking him when he was 8. A bit like you take Zane, don't you? Or try and take Zane when you can.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little bit different for you when you've got the disabled side of it for Zane, and you've got that safety as well, haven't you? With your kids. I'm not saying Old Trafford's because it isn't, but that's why we started utilising that. But now, Jake will use our ticket in the Sir Alex stand, or we might use it in the East stand. When we go. But I want to touch on something about, and we make a really good point about tourists, but unfortunately, our club is that popular, and our club for years has never really got itself and its the season ticket side of it sorted, and so. Because there's only 76,000 fans that can go into Old Trafford, Hammer, as a lifelong supporter of Manchester United, would be seen to be plastic. And that winds me up to the fucking hilt, it does. It absolutely winds me up, because we know this man and we know he's Manchester United through and through. But Hammer comes over from the States. He gets put in this bracket of being a tourist fan or a plastic fan. And people can only buy tickets they can get hold of. And that's the problem with Old Trafford. And that's where the hardcore fans decided not to go again, because they much prefer to go to the away end, because they can sing, people know the songs, people know the history of the club, etc., etc., etc. And we're a victim, perhaps, of our own success with regards to it, because we've got 650, 750, 1 billion fans globally. You tell me, I don't know. The number changes regular, doesn't it? But you can only get 76,000 in there. So and my question is, it's to everybody, you can all interact with me on this. What is Hammer, a lifelong Manchester United fan, supposed to do? And how is he supposed to feel? So in the comments, if you're watching, tell us, because I'm really interested in that. Sorry, I'm not singling you out, Hammer.
No,
using you as an example, my friend.
It's not great at all, is it? Because you've got fans in India and China that will stay up till 3 a.m. to watch every single game. And I've been on holiday to Australia where there was a couple of games on over the Christmas period that were 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. I wasn't really willing to get up for that. So in that sense, they're probably more of a United fan than I am. And I talk about United all the time. That's all I do ever. So what makes them any difference to me? I wasn't born in Manchester either, so I'm probably not even seen as a proper Manchester United fan. But you'll have some of the most knowledgeable fans about Manchester United who aren't born in Manchester. So it's a really weird way of looking at it.
Well, Ben can talk about Chuki yesterday, 4 a.m. where he was.
Yeah, Chuki, yeah.
Chuki, 4 a.m. to come onto a fan channel, and then you got Jeff, 5 a.m. And Hammer, sometimes it's early or it's late, isn't it? With you, it's never a good time for you all the time. And so it winds me up when you see people called plastic and you're not a real fan and you're a tourist. It just winds me up. But the club also use it as income generation. They use it. They sell tickets to Thomas Cook, don't they? Or used to sell tickets to Thomas Cook. And they sell tickets to a variety of companies that sell away day trips or home trips to Manchester United. You get your ticket, you get your meal, and you get your free admission to the museum, and you get 10% off in the club shop, but you pay 250 quid for the privilege of that. So it's not cheap for anyone really to do it, but it just winds me up a little bit. So I must admit I'm on a bit of a rant on that one, so apologies.
Yeah, it's not great. Well,
am I unbanned yet, or has Ben still banned me?
Oh yeah, we'll have a word. But Hammer, I wanted to speak to you about atmospheres because I don't know if you've been to an NBA game live, but I saw recently I think it was LeBron who like the shouting from inside the arena and the atmosphere was actually putting him off his game. He said that in an interview. Does the indoor like arena feel of NBA really improve the atmosphere? And do you think that can be translated over to football?
The second part of that question is interesting. So the first part is, yeah, the indoor I think changes it because that sound isn't going anywhere, right? Like when you're on a field and the roof's open or it's just a fully an open field, the sound is going to be loud, but eventually it's going to filter out. That sound in those arenas in the NBA are just getting filtered right down at you on the court. And, it definitely is possible. There's times in both NBA games and I think in NFL as well, where you're trying to talk to your teammate and either, if it's NFL to have a play or if it's NBA, figure out what you're going to do. And you can't even hear what you're talking to the guy who's like 2 feet in front of you. So, I think the indoor thing is a very big thing in those sports and especially in the NBA. And to be honest, I know we talked about college before. Some people say the college indoor atmosphere is a lot more insane because, well, the way I look at it is you have it's mostly a bunch of drunk ass college students screaming at the top of their lungs. So it's going to be a little more insane. No. And then in terms of it transferring to football, I mean, there's no indoor football stadiums, right? Like if they're all.
No. I think there's some that have got closable roofs, but you wouldn't class them as indoor.
Yeah. It'd be interesting. I think it would change a lot of it because some of the stuff that I've seen, and obviously I've only seen it from TV, but like when a lot of the fans of some of these clubs get to jump in and you get to the songs going at the top of their lungs, it's gonna carry across that entire field over and over. So, I think it would be a pretty cool thing to experience and to see, just because I know like those sounds go a lot more into the players too and into the effects. And if it's going to affect somebody like LeBron James, it affects a lot of people. But also, and I'm sure it happens at some places. I know I've heard some people from over by you guys talk about it. You also have some fans that are just pieces of shit. Over here, Philly fans, you're going to have a 12-year-old sorry, I don't want to do that on here, flipping you off and saying some shit about your mother. And you're going to be like, what the and their dad's right there cheering them on with whatever they're saying. So, that also affects some people.
There are fans around that do that. The interesting thing, actually, I was talking to Andy Cole. I interviewed him actually at Le Mans a couple of years ago, and I was asking him a couple of things, mainly about football. But one of the questions I was always interested to know is what effect the fans have on players, what they actually hear and what they don't hear. And I kind of said to him, you shouldn't be listening to anything really because you should be concentrating on playing football. And he kind of said that after the Eric Cantona incident, Fergie got the players together and kind of said to them, look, you shouldn't be listening. You shouldn't see. You shouldn't hear the fans. You should go out on that pitch and you'd be completely blinkered on your job, which is to win football matches. You shouldn't see what's around you and shouldn't hear what's around you. And you do kind of see that and hear that the commentators are saying, he's kind of, the fans have got to him, etc., etc. But a true, real professional, and this is what Andy Cole was saying, should get on with it. You should be able to blinker it out. Now, when you're talking about someone like LeBron James, I don't know a lot about basketball. I don't, but I know he's a basketballer, whatever you call him. I've never been to a basketball match, but a couple of friends of mine have been there. And they're saying $1,000 seats or the $1,300 seats or whatever they are, which are courtside, I think.
Yeah.
He was saying to me that you're just behind or even sometimes in front or in the middle of the benches or something like that.
Yeah,
and if you pay top dollar, they're literally meters away from you playing ball.
Yeah, there's people who are close enough at times, and you see them put videos up on their social media where you're close enough, and if a player is cool enough, they'll reach back and high five you. Like they're that close. Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? And football stadiums now, and Old Trafford is one of them, because if you're on the South Stand in particular, it's terrible, Ben, isn't it? If you're on the front row of the South Stand, you've got to kind of arch your neck to look up to the pitch. It's the south stand in particular is quite low, isn't it, Benny?
It is, mate. It's let's not forget the pitch does slope as well, doesn't it? It slopes, doesn't it? So
yes,
you've got to look over that slope, and it is awkward. Even behind the goals there. I took my son once to see a United charity match at Old Trafford. We sat at the front of the Stretford end, and he had to stand up the whole game because he couldn't see.
it wasn't the ball.
I think we got the ball. So
it wasn't the old Bayern legends, was it?
It was the Bayern legends, mate. Yes, that's the one.
Me and Jakey were there. The old Bayern legends match. Fuck yeah! He was talking about putting. Remember Paul Breitner?
Yeah.
If you've ever, if you don't know Paul Breitner, Google him because he's a wonderful player, wasn't he? But he was fucking come out with his fucking belly, which was fucking absolutely fucking huge. But his touch still was out of this world, wasn't it?
You never lose your touch, mate. Once you've got that touch down to a T, you never lose it.
No, and they had some wonderful players. I'm just trying to think who was the Effenberg. Do you remember Stefan?
Stefan Effenberg, yeah.
He was fucking hell. He was huge, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Lothar Matthäus was there that day. Oh, great day that was. Did you go to the Real Madrid one as well?
I did, mate. Yeah. But Rude came back.
Fucking Rude.
Still playing now, Rude.
Turned out for both. Rude did. Absolutely brilliant. Turned out for us second half, didn't he?
Yeah.
Or was it first half for us? Because Real Madrid played in black, didn't they? Black.
Yeah.
But I always thought about Figo was good that day, but Michel Salgado was amazing, wasn't he, on the right for them that day?
Yeah. I don't think that Salgado long retired. I did that by that point because
I think at that point, he was still playing. But
I know a lot of their teams in Spain and in Germany. They all play Legends match quite regularly, whereas in this country it's like once in a blue moon. But they're always playing each other every year, at least twice a year or something. So
that reminds me of I went to Michael Carrick's testimonial, and on the other team was Guy Scamendieta. He blew everyone away.
He played in Madrid. He played in the Madrid game, didn't he? Did Mendieta play in the Madrid game?
Was it the Barcelona game? Because he didn't play for Barcelona.
Played for Barcelona. Did Mendieta was he Barcelona?
Oh no, was he Valencia? Sure, I can't
played for Valencia.
Play for Valencia, wasn't it?
Came to Middlesbrough for a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, he definitely came to Middlesbrough.
He was at Middlesbrough. He was at Valencia. I seem to remember him from Madrid. Did he start out at Madrid as a kid?
Could have done.
Possibly.
Yeah. Possibly. I'll tell you was brilliant that day was Fernando Hierro. He was awesome at the back for Real. Absolutely brilliant. That was a good those were great, but you just don't see them anymore. Unfortunately, which is a real shame.
Listen,
we're running out of time. Barcelona. Did play for Barcelona. Thought
it was Barcelona. Yeah.
There we go. Anyway, we're running out of time, so I want to leave you on one thing. We've been told we need to cover the England game, but I imagine it's going to get done a lot. So what has sprung to mind is Wayne Rooney has pulled his turtleneck back out and done his column for the Times again, and he said we need to drop Grealish and play 3 defensive midfielders to beat Germany. And I think it's statements like that which are why Derby nearly got relegated this season. I think he is not going to be a good manager. It might be early to call, but I think he's going to be a horrendous manager. So I wanted to ask one question before I leave. Who that's currently playing do you think would make the worst manager when they retire? I'll give you a second to think.
What a great question. Phil Foden.
I think Pep would have had enough of an influence on him. I'm thinking
Have you seen his hairstyle?
Well, yeah, he's a poser, isn't he, Stu? He's a poser.
He don't get Joe started on posers.
I was going to go the whole night without saying the word.
Go on, I'll leave the floor open if anyone's got one.
Well, a couple of things. First and foremost, I just want to say one thing about the England-Germany game. All of my mates reckon we're going to do Germany quite comfortable. So I just want to go on record that if we are to beat Germany, we're going to have to score twice, because I can't see Germany not scoring against us. In our last 6 or 7 matches, and if you take out the Faroe Islands or San Marino, wherever it is we played in the World Cup, where we beat them 5-0, which you expect. We haven't scored more than we've only scored 2 goals twice in the last 6 or 7 matches. So, you know, we're just scraping in games. We're going to have to score twice to beat Germany, in my humble opinion. And as regards to managers, Phil Foden, tosser.
I really like this shout because can you imagine how bad a team talk would be from Harry Kane? Trying to motivate his players for the, I don't know, League 2 playoff final, and you can't understand a word he's saying. I think that's a really good shout. Also, it doesn't look like he has much tactical knowledge at all, but go on, Hammer.
You're talking about from the England team, and
just any player.
You said Grealish, that man would. He I know he's great at football, but I've seen some interviews with him. He's not the how's the nicest way I could put this? The sharpest tool in the shed. I guess, but it's not. I heard some of the dude. I'm not trying to be a dick, but like he's great at football. But holy shit,
you should listen to Raheem Sterling then. Fuck you know. Raheem Sterling does an interview. He has a dictionary down here. That's why he keeps looking down, so he can turn the page and try and find the word that he wants to use. Raheem Sterling does. You know? Hey, can you imagine Jordan Pickford being a manager?
That was my shout out to Jordan fucking Pickford. With his T-Rex arms. Going that way, boys.
Right, I'll leave. We'll end it there. I'll everyone let us know in the comments who you think would be a horrendous manager. I think there's quite a lot in the modern game, to be fair. Just you got to factor in. Go on.
Who do you think is going to be, seriously, England, Germany? What do you think the result will be?
I'm going brave. 1-0 England. We'll nick it. You can't.
Penalties, boys. It's going to go penalties, I tell you.
Do you not think, though, and I'm being serious now, just for a split second, do you not think, though, the likes of Kruna and Gundogan are going to completely destroy? I mean, Kruna by himself, they're not going to completely destroy the likes of Rice and Phillips. I'm talking on technical ability here. I mean, Kruna's been doing it for years at the highest level.
I think some people are underestimating Germany.
Yeah. Like Germany, I'd be surprised if Germany don't win it from this position. They're a phenomenal team, but as an Englishman, you can't say England are going to lose. That's not on at all. Because if I say Germany are going to win and England lose, I'm going to look like even more of an arsehole. I'm
not saying Germany are going to win. I'm just going to say I think we'll need to score twice, and we haven't done that in a long time. That's my only thought process.
Jacob agrees with Ben. He says Germans on pens.
Yeah. Trust me, it's going to go penalties. I think it's going to finish 1-1, but I think it's going to go penalties and Germany win on penalties.
Fair enough. I just hope it's a really entertaining game. I hope it's not just us sat off for 90 minutes and trying to catch them on the counter. I just want some free-flowing football. There's some of the best players in the world on display. I want to see some sign of it.
Knowing your coach, don't hold your breath.
Yeah, he's the reincarnation of a Wally and a Brolly. But listen, we're past the hour mark now, so if anyone's got anything to add, I'll open the floor to you.
Am I still banned, or can I come back next week?
No, I don't think you have a word. I'll just
next week you have to turn up with a Brolly, though.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, the Wooly with the Brolly.
The Wooly with the Brolly, that's a good one.
Benny was at it like a shot. Shrew, like a shot. No messing. Well done, James.
Right,
well, fair play for stepping in, mate. Well done.
So all the years of taking improv classes. That was a joke. I wouldn't do that. But yeah, listen. I hope it's not been too much of an awkward transition. I hope you have enjoyed it. We've tried. That's all we can do. We've tried. Blame Karthik if you didn't enjoy it. It's all his fault anyway. Everything is.
He's down on internet.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to you boys for joining me. It's been enjoyable, I think, other than the massive amount of stress I've had recently. But
always.
Thank you to everyone who's tuned in and joined in the comments as well. Be sure, if you haven't already, to let us know who would be the worst manager after retirement that's currently playing. Doesn't have to be in the England squad either. I just want a proper doofus of a player who would just make a horrible manager. But yeah, without further ado, I'll leave you to it. I think we're back. I think we're back tomorrow, aren't we, with the Pride of All Europe podcast? I think
back tomorrow, yeah, 12.
Yeah.
So
be sure.
Am I on that?
I don't know. I know that's the last one I'm hosting, and I think James is on Tuesday. So I don't know. To be fair, it might be, mate. Yeah. I'm not actually had a look at the group yet. And I need to find out with Ben whether I'm setting the stream up or not, because he said over the weekend and tomorrow's a weekday, so I need to find out from him whether I'm doing thumbnail on the stream. So
yeah, I am on with you, pal. Yeah,
you are on with me. Nice, sweet. And then James is back Tuesday at 12.
James doesn't like me. James won't be on any of his shows anymore. I'm done. I'm banned. James has banned me.
There's always room for a lovely stew on my show, but yeah. Without further ado,
one quick one for Jarvis. I think Denmark can win the Euros. Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
I mean, there's 8 goals in 2 games.
There's a hell of a lot of talent in that squad as well. There's a lot of Champions League experience in there, which goes under the radar.
And they've got a big team spirit as well, especially what's happened to Ericsson as well. That team spirit's now even bigger than it was before. So don't write Denmark off yet. And I'm assuming if England beat Germany, England plays Denmark somewhere in this point of competition at some point, don't they?
They might play them in the semi-finals.
So all these England fans that are saying, "Oh, we beat Germany, we're cruising to win it." Don't forget Denmark as well.
Denmark are ruthless.
At some point.
Ruthless. Denmark are really, really ruthless. So, sorry about that. Jarvis just asked me.
Sorry, right. James. James wanted to take the show about 20 minutes ago.
He did. Sorry, James.
It gives me a chance to just point out how shit Wales are as well. So that's a nice little place to end it on. So yeah, without any further ado, be sure to tune in tomorrow for more of Benny, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.